Here are the top stories for today, August 19, 2019. The Defense Department shrugs off as preposterous China's claims that overseas Filipino workers there may be spying against their host country. Newly voted local officials express support for the government's whole-of-nation approach against insurgency. Malacanang mourns the death of former DENR Secretary Gina Lopez. And the Japanese government honors the first ever Filipina under the Reiwa era for her contributions to Tokyo-Manila relations.
Good day, I'm Rom Dulfo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. Our top story, Defense Secretary Lorenzana on Sunday lashed back at Chinese ambassador to the Philippines, Zhao Zhanhua, who reportedly says that OFWs in China could be accused of spying. This following the concern of the DND chief over the operation of Chinese Philippine offshore gaming operations or POGO centers near military camps and facilities, saying its employees could easily shift to spying. Lorenzana says the response of Ambassador Zhao Zhanhua is preposterous, as POGO workers here are not comparable to OFWs in China. He says POGO workers came over for a different purpose, likely just tourism, but eventually got visas to work in an activity at the POGO centers operating gambling operations, which is prohibited in China. The DND chief said he is supporting proposals to place these Chinese POGO centers in hubs that are not proximate to military camps, as Chinese companies are mandated by the Chinese government to assist in intelligence collection for their government. Malacanang says it wants to know the reason of China for its ceaseless crossing through Cebu near the Philippines' southernmost province of Tawi-Tawi without clearance. Defense Secretary Lorenzana earlier described the recent movement of Chinese vessels through Cebu as an irritant, while presidential spokesperson San Panelo himself told a weekend media forum that Malacanang wants to know why the Chinese warships are passing through Cebu. However, Panelo could not ascertain if President Rodrigo Duterte, who would be meeting up with Chinese President Xi Jinping later this month, would raise the issue regarding the Chinese warships incursion. Earlier this month, President Duterte said he would invoke the Philippines maritime win in an international tribunal during his upcoming meeting with Chinese President Xi. The government sees a positive reinforcing role for neophyte local chief executives in the national government's efforts to wipe out local communist armed conflict. Speaking in a forum, DILG Undersecretary Bernardo Flores Jr. said newly elected local government officials extended very robust cooperation to the national government's whole-of-nation approach to eliminate local communist threats. He said these officials are young and fearless in speaking their mind and see the positive signs about government efforts, particularly on Executive Order Number 70. EO 70 institutionalized the whole-of-nation approach in attaining inclusive and sustainable peace. It also paved the way for the creation of a national task force to end local communist armed conflict. One of the programs of EO 70 is to encourage former NPA rebels to return to the folds of law and help them jumpstart their families' reintegration into society by providing livelihood and educational assistance, among others. A government official says there is a need for drastic measures like no garage, no car policy, since traffic in the metro is already a crisis situation. In an interview with the Philippine news agency's Pros and Cons program, DILG Undersecretary Jonathan Malaya said traffic is caused by many factors like lack of infrastructure spending and the volume of vehicles in Metro Manila. Malaya stressed the importance of limitation on car ownership, saying now is the perfect time to implement a no garage, no car policy.
Well, depende yun sa kalalabasan ng batas. No? Either pahayaan na natin yung mga nakabili na, wala na tayong magawa, at yun na lang ng mga bagong sasakyan ang ililimatahan natin. Pero kung gusto nating maging draconian measure talaga, pwede sa re-registration. Pag nag-lapse na yung rehistro, magpapakita ka na ngayon ng certification na meron kang garahe.
Kasi kung hindi, bigla-bigla.
Yes, kung hindi, iuwi mo sa probinsya yung sasakyan. or bumili ka ng garahe.
Ibenta mo nga sa ibang tao, sa probinsya
or ibenta mo sa ibang tao. Kailangan yung building code natin, maamyendahan din natin. Kasi luma na yung building code natin. Yung requirement ng mga parking space sa mga restaurants, sa mga condominiums, should be 1:1 na ngayon. Pag bumili ka ng condominium,
dapat meron
kasama na sa sale ng condominium yung parking space kasi ginagawang optional.
Oo.
'Di ba? Kung may gusto mong
Quezon City Mayor Joy Belmonte ordered the sweeping of ambulant vendors under the Luzon flyover after she found out that there is anomaly behind its operation. And Congressman Ansarudin Adyong refiles a bill seeking for higher reparation for the victims of Marawi siege. More on this and other news around the metro from Janice Cave.
Llano del Sur Representative Ansarudin Adyong refiled House Bill number 3418 or the Marawi Compensation Act, which proposed a larger reparation for damages wrought by the 2017 Marawi siege. This after the 17th Congress failed to act on it. Adyong is proposing a 50 billion peso monetary compensation for the loss or destruction of residential and commercial properties during the Marawi siege. The proposed budget is said to be released in 3 phases. The first, 10 billion pesos to come from national appropriation. The second is 20 billion pesos from PCSO. And the third is 20 billion pesos from PAGCOR. In other news, a new public market zone will be opened in Marikina City this year to keep the road free from obstruction. Marikina City Mayor Marcelino Teodoro said some 11 million pesos are allocated for Marikina City's Bagong Sibol Market. It has a size of a basketball court and can house around 100 vendors with minimal rental fee. Mayor Teodoro says this is being done so that vendors can have a decent place to sell and to clear road obstruction following the 60-day deadline imposed by the DILG. Meanwhile, Quezon City Mayor Joy Belmonte ordered the investigation on the alleged anomalies in Quezon City markets. This after around 200 ambulant vendors located under the Luzon flyover revealed that each stall owners are paying 150 pesos per day to a private company identified as Efficient Business Management Outsource Incorporated or E-Manage. The city government said E-Manage has no business permit and is not allowed to operate a wet and dry market. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
Still to come, Malacanang mourns the death of former DENR Secretary Gina Lopez. The PNP warns residents in Botanaes against a group recruiting members and promising them large sums of money. More on this when the PNA Newsroom continues.
Nations are created by the stories they tell. When the mayor of Davao City, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, took his oath of office as president of our republic, he began the story of his government by saying that no leader can succeed without the support of the people. 3 years thereafter, his leadership has received the highest percentage of support, acceptance, and trust ever given by the people who elected him into office.
This is Secretary Marikina City, and you're watching.
The strength of his leadership continues to promote the growth of the country in every aspect, even as he repeatedly puts at stake his honor and his office in the war against illegal drugs, corruption, and crime.
The purpose of this town hall is for us to explain our mandates, our roles, and responsibilities as your national government, and at the same time, for the national government to hear, to listen, and to understand your concerns as a region. Now is the opportunity for us here in this hall in LNU to understand one another, to ask the relevant questions, to seek the answers that would help us deliver what we ought to do for our countrymen.
Welcome to Dagyao. Welcome to the future we begin today. Thank you, mabuhay, maupay, naaga kanatong tanan.
The Presidential Communications Operations
Former Environment Secretary Gina Lopez succumbed to brain cancer early Monday. She was 65. During her term as DENR chief, Lopez ordered the closure of over-mining companies that affected watersheds and also threatened to ban open-pit mining in the country. Lopez, an environmentalist and philanthropist, was also the chairperson of ABS-CBN Foundation Incorporated, which launched Bantay Bata 163, Bantay Kalikasan, and other environmental programs. She received the 1997 International Public Relations Award for Excellence for the Environment and the 2009 Outstanding Manilan Award for the Environment. The former environment chief has been active in social media to promote her advocacy in protecting the environment and promoting sustainable tourism. Among them is this video in May where she put up solar lights in a fishing village.
Hi, nandito ako sa, what's the name of this village? Fishing village in Bajau Village. Simunol, Bajau Village. And we're here with the mayor and Ilak Diaz, and we're putting lights, solar lights in this house. In this place, in this village. Happy ba kayo? May ilaw na kayo. Galing sa araw. Yeah. We'll make them happy. Lights. Galing. And so if you want to help people and you want lights everywhere, it's only 1,000 pesos, one light. You can call Litter of Light, and I'll send you the number. Ilak Diaz, I love him. You know? Litter of Light. He's the nephew of Gloria Diaz. He's so good. Okay, bye.
Meanwhile, Malacanang mourned the death of Lopez as presidential spokesperson Sal Panelo described her as one of President Duterte's most passionate cabinet members. Panelo also praised her for fighting powerful interests in the mining sector as well as in industries that negatively affect the environment. DENR Secretary Roy Simato also extended his condolences as he praised Lopez's passion for protecting watersheds and being an advocate of ecotourism. The Bureau of Customs Port of Cebu celebrated on Friday its 133rd founding anniversary with an ambition towards obtaining an ISO certification. District Collector Charlito Mendoza said BOC Cebu vows to take on President Duterte's directives of professionalism, reforms, revenues, and diligence. Mendoza said Customs Commissioner Ray Leonardo Guerrero sent a team of auditors to conduct audit in all offices of the port to improve the delivery of services to its stakeholders. He said that the auditors found out that the subports of Mactan and Dumaguete are qualified for ISO certification. Meantime, the Cebu Port Authority management expressed their willingness to extend a usufruct of 25 years over the property, which will enable BOC Cebu to construct its own building as a requirement for ISO certification. The government will roll out a 1.5 billion peso loan program for farmers who were affected by the rice tariffication law due to the influx of cheaper imports. Agriculture Secretary William Dar says farmers may avail of the Sure Aid or Expanded Survival and Recovery Assistance Program starting September 1. Dar said under the Sure Aid, the government will be giving a one-time loan assistance of 15,000 pesos to farmers tilling 1 hectare farmlands who were affected by rice tariffication. The National Food Authority will also buy the produce of rice farmers who avail of the loan under the said program. Dar says the DA vows to continue to look at measures to improve the living conditions of rural stakeholders. More drug suspects are apprehended over the weekend as police intensify its anti-drug campaign. In Malolos, Bulacan, 3 alleged drug peddlers were killed while 6 others were arrested during intensified buy-bust operations conducted Saturday. The neutralized suspects are identified as Harold Sonponco, Alfie Garcia, and Julius Ace Lavaro. They were killed in separate operations after they engaged the police operatives in a firefight. Meanwhile, separate buy-bust operations conducted in Maykawayan and Bukawi resulted in the arrest of 6 suspects identified as Aridel Del Rosario, Marvy Labong, Joan Ralo, Jennifer Francisco, Jack Contante, and Rafael Guerrero. A total of 18 plastic sachets of Cebu, assorted drug paraphernalia, and buy-bust money were confiscated from the suspects during the operations. In Cebu, a 21-year-old woman who allegedly works as a mule of some known drug personalities in Cebu was arrested in a buy-bus operation on Sunday. Suspect Julian Villegas was arrested in a buy-bus operation at past 3 a.m. in Sitio Cahipa, Hipodromo village, where she is reportedly staying. Report says Villegas was on the list of high-value targets and allegedly works as an associate of some drug personalities in the city. In Cagayan de Oro City, a 66-year-old Korean-American national was nabbed for alleged possession of illegal drug substance. Police identified the suspect as Dong Young Kim, divorced and staying at the Coresco Hotel in Uptown Cagayan de Oro. Dong is said to be a retired U.S. Army serviceman and has been using his monthly pension for his daily needs here. He has been known to sell shabu to his compatriots living in the city and is considered as a high-value target of the police. In Davao, about 4,000 pesos worth of shabu are seized from 3 suspects in an anti-illegal drug operation on Sunday. The suspects are identified as Elnor Magali, a gym instructor, as well as Amerodin Imam and Christian Roy Daug. The suspects are now detained and will be charged for violation of Sections 5 and 11 of Republic Act 9165 or the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002. Residents in Botanaes are warned against a scam group, and modernized jeepneys will soon ply in Bulacan. More on this and other news from the provinces from Janice Cave.
In Botanaes, residents are warned against a Maharlika group scam following reports that there are individuals encouraging residents to be a member in exchange for a hefty amount of money. The local government and the police warn the public not to divulge personal information and report these persons to authorities. In Malolos, Bulacan, 16 units of modernized jeepneys will ply the route from Sampol Market in the city of San Jose del Monte to Santa Maria and Maykawayan starting today. This is the first route in Bulacan to be included under the POV modernization program. Under the program, all public utility vehicles older than 15 years old will no longer be allowed to travel on the streets as public transport. The Land Bank of the Philippines has allocated 1.5 billion pesos for LTFRB's PUV modernization program, which will lend money to drivers so that they can buy new jeepney units. The loan has no interest and is payable up to 7 years. In addition, the government also gives an 80,000 peso subsidy to ease amortization payments. In Quezon Province, government troops recover an improvised explosive device and other personal belongings during the focused military operations at Sitio Kabungahan, Barangay Cagsiyay in Mauban on August 14. The recovered items are believed to be from suspected New People's Army members. Brigadier General Arnulfo Marcelo Burgos Jr., commander of 2nd Infantry Division, said the incident exposes the NPA's true nature and proves the government's claim that they are a band of terrorists, contrary to what they are trying to project in their statements. He reiterated his call for the terrorist rebels to go back to mainstream society and be part of the solution to the problems that the country is facing. In Tawi-Tawi, the Philippine Coast Guard has intercepted an unregistered fishing vessel manned by 4 Vietnamese crewmen off Taganak, Tawi-Tawi. The unregistered fishing vessel was spotted around 3 p.m. on Friday in the vicinity of Langaan Island, carrying a drum full of sea cucumber. The seized vessel and its crew were escorted to the Coast Guard station on Great Bakungaan Island for proper disposition. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
Up next, the government enforces compulsory clearing of esteros and tributaries leading to Manila Bay. The Japanese government honors the first ever Filipina under the Reiwa era for her contributions to Tokyo-Manila relations. The PNA Newsroom returns after these reminders.
Ipinangako ni Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte ang trabaho para sa bawat Pilipino. Isa sa mga paraan para matugunan niya ang pangakong ito ay ang programang 911 TESDA. Ang 911 TESDA ay isang free web-based linking program o app na naglalayong magkaloob ng pagkakataon na makahanap ng trabaho ang mga nagtapos sa TESDA. Dito rin makikita ang mga serbisyong pinagkakaloob ng ahensya.
sa pamagitan ng 911 TESDA. Umaasa ang Pangulo na mas maraming nagtapos sa Technical Vocational Education and Training ang makakakita ng hanapbuhay.
I am pleased with the efforts of the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority in making the undertaking possible. This initiative is just one of the innovative solutions that will bring technical vocational education and training, or TVET, graduates closer to the local labor market. I am confident that this program will significantly contribute to our efforts to provide livelihood opportunities that will enable our people to make a decent living, in the process empower them to contribute to our overall growth as a nation. I am hopeful that our TVET students and graduates are all over the country will successfully land jobs that will best suit their skills and qualifications.
Ang 911 TESDA application ay tugon para sa lumalaking pangangailangan para sa mga dekalidad na serbisyo sa mga tahanan, komunidad at negosyo. Hiniling ng Pangulo sa mga industry partner ang patuloy na pakikipagtulungan sa pamahalaan para mas dumami pa ang mga individual na may kasanayan sa kani-kanilang sektor. Inatasan din niya ang TESDA na mas pagandahin pa ang kalidad ng technical vocational education para mas maraming oportunidad ang dumating sa mga manggagawang Pilipino. Hinikayat naman ng Pangulo ang mga rebelding NPA na isuko na ang kanilang mga armas at mag-aral na lang sa TESDA para makapamuhay ng normal. Ang 911 TESDA ay inisyal na magagamit sa National Capital Region at tiniyak ng ahensya na magiging available ito sa buong bansa.
In continued efforts to clean up Manila Bay, the government will clear the banks of Manila Bay's tributaries and esteros to improve water quality and facilitate the collection of garbage. Environment Secretary Lorenzana said there is a need to remove structures encroaching on the easement so waste collectors can easily access and gather garbage in and along the tributaries at esteros. He reminded LGUs having jurisdiction over Manila Bay's tributaries and esteros to ensure the regular collection of garbage. In line with this, the DENR and the Aboitiz group signed a memorandum of agreement covering the rehabilitation of San Juan River. The Aboitiz group proposed to bankroll cleanup and rehabilitation of the river and donate materials and equipment for the undertaking. Among DENR's corporate allies are San Miguel Corporation, which committed to help rehabilitate Tulyahan Tinajeros River, and SM Prime Holdings, which pledged to help reduce pollution in Estero de Tripa, de Galina, and Parañaque River. The Japanese government has honored a Filipina for her contribution in bridging Tokyo and Manila relations. The Japanese ambassador to the Philippines, Koji Haneda, conferred on Friday to Maria Elena Laurel Loinas the Order of the Rising Sun Gold and Silver Rays. She is the first Filipina to be feted under Japan's new Reiwa era. Laurel Loinas, daughter of first Filipino ambassador to Japan, Jose Laurel III, served as the president of the Philippine-Japan Ladies Association for 13 years. In a congratulatory speech, Haneda acknowledged the programs she initiated at the BJLA and its affiliated groups, which encouraged exchanges between Filipinos and the Japanese. For her part, Laurel Loinas said she will continue to play an active role in bringing the two nations' people closer. Filipinos planning to travel abroad or to other parts of Libya are advised to be vigilant in the wake of the frequent shelling of Mitiga International Airport, the sole functioning airport in Tripoli. In a statement last Friday, the Philippine Embassy in Libya said flight operations have been suspended as the shelling endangered the lives of civilians using the airport. While the more than 1,000 Filipinos in Tripoli are still covered by restrictions under Alert Level 4, Charge d'Affaires El Mercato said many of them still travel abroad for their vacations. The Alert Level 4, which is still in place in Tripoli, prohibits Filipinos who have gone back to Manila from returning to Libya. Meanwhile, Cato said the repatriation efforts of the embassy is still ongoing, with 12 applications being processed at present. The embassy and the Department of Foreign Affairs had been using Mitiga, particularly to repatriate Filipinos from Tripoli. With the current state of the Mitiga International Airport, the envoy said the embassy will most likely evacuate future repatriates first to Tunis by land. In our foreign news, Hong Kong is gearing up for more protests this week after throngs of anti-government demonstrators braved heavy rains to rally peacefully on Sunday. About 1.7 million participants showed up for the rally, which was seen as a break from the chaos last week when protesters occupied the Hong Kong International Airport. Further demonstrations are planned in coming weeks, including another strike in districts across the former British colony. In a statement on Sunday night, the government stressed the need to restore social order and vowed to begin sincere dialogue with the public. The protests began more than 11 weeks ago as opposition to a bill that would allow suspects to be extradited to mainland China for trial in Communist Party-controlled courts. Over 700 people have been arrested since the protests began in June. Legaspi City is celebrating the Ibalong Festival, with events being opened for locals and visitors alike to participate in. Bench Bondok with this story.
Legaspi City Mayor Noel Rosal is inviting the public to come here and experience more of Ibalong Festival, which opened last Friday, August 16. He said more activities will be held for visitors and locals to witness and participate in until August 25. Slated in the coming days are different sporting events that include the Mayon Triathlon, as well as the National Women's Beach Volleyball and National Fishing Tournament. Also, there will be a photography competition, Mutya ng Ibalong Beauty Pageant, street dance competition, and other major events. Rosal also thanked the estimated 20,000 people who joined Friday's 6-kilometer float parade, which kicked off the opening of the 28th Ibalong Festival. Ibalong Festival is a yearly non-religious folklore-based celebration depicting Biko's early beginnings, based on an epic written by the late Professor Merito Espinas that tells of mythical superheroes, villains, monsters, and wild animals in the ancient times. The festival was launched in 1992 and had been held in the month of October, but was moved to August in 2011. Ibalong Festival is also the city's venue in promoting sports to make tourism more competitive and dynamic. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Bench Bondo.
Parts of Luzon are threatened with thunderstorms as the southwest monsoon or habagat affects northern and central Luzon. Pag-asa says the western parts of Luzon may experience heavy rains due to thunderstorms. Weather conditions in other parts of the country experiencing rains are expected to improve in the next few hours. Meantime, let's check out the weather forecasts for Metro Manila and the rest of the country. Let's take another look at today's biggest stories.
The Defense Department shrugs off as preposterous China's claims that overseas Filipino workers there may be spying against their host country. Newly voted local officials express support for the government's whole-of-nation approach against insurgency. Malacanang mourns the death of former DENR Secretary Gina Lopez. And the Japanese government honors the first ever Filipina under the Reiwa era for her contributions to Tokyo-Manila relations.
Thank you for watching another edition of the PNA Newsroom. To check out these and other stories, check PNA website or follow the Philippine News Agency on Facebook and Twitter. For more stories about the government and how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags on all our social media platforms and websites. And that's your daily dose of latest news and information that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. I'm Rom Dulfo. Good day.